The House will come to order. The pledge today will be led by Cole Tourau, Shadow Ridge Middle School, Thornton, Colorado, and Canyon Berkheim, Thornton Middle School, Thornton, Colorado.
Please join us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Kohler, please call the roll.
Representatives Arndt. Gasp. Representative Arndt. Becker J. Becker K. Brown. Buck. Buckner. Carver. Conti. Corum. Court. Danielson. Del Grosso. Representative Del Grosso.
Representative Del
Dorr.
Grosso. Oh, there he
Nope,
is.
he's present. Dorr. Duran. Esgar. Everett. Fields. Representative Fields. There's nobody over there.
Representative Fields excused.
Foot. Garnett. Janal. Representative Janal.
Having said all that, I forgot to give you the amendment. Thank you. You're welcome.
Hamner. Humphrey. Representative Humphrey.
Representative Humphrey excused.
Joshi. Kagan. Klingenschmidt. Kraft-Tharp. Landgraf. Representative Landgraf. Lawrence. Representative Lawrence. Lebsock. Lee. Leonard. Lontine. Lundeen. McCann. Representative McCann. There she is. Melton. Mitch Bush. Moreno. Representative Moreno. Navarro. Neville. Nordberg. Pabon. Representative Pabon. No. Okay. Pabon. Okay. You really want me to read it? Okay. Representative Pabon excused. Pedersen. Primavera. Priola. Rankin. Ransom. Rosenthal. Rupe. Ryden. Sane. Salazar. Sias. Singer. Thurlow. Tyler. Van Winkle. Vigil. Willett. Williams. Wilson. Windholes. Winter. Wist. Young. Madam Speaker.
I'm the reader today. Alex,
Representative Humphrey is present.
are you a fantasy football player?
Oh yeah. I don't think there's a state legislator in the country who's lost more money playing. I have a 3-page amendment coming. Have you seen that amendment on your desk? That's from me.
I haven't read it.
Yeah, it's good. It's leveling the playing field. It's great democratic messaging. It's leveling the playing field. It's making sure that there's transparency in the marketplace. But I worked with the industry.
And regulating everything.
No. It's just saying if you quit your job and you live in your mama's basement, you drive a Lamborghini,
Then you can play.
you have to have a badge next to your username so I know that, so that I don't play against you head to head. That's all.
That's good. That's a good amendment. I'll vote for that, but I can't. Game or is that for a
Though, but it's like a week long. So when your player scores a touchdown, that's 6.
With 63 present, 2 excused, a quorum is present. Representative Thurlow.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the reading of the Journal of Monday, April 4th, 2016 be dispensed with and that it be approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk.
You have heard the motion You have heard the motion that the journal reading be dispensed with and that it be approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Announcements and introductions. Representative Williams.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members of the Business Affairs and Labor Committee, we will hear House Bill 1401, 1302, 1404, and 1356 today at 1:30. We do have a room change. We will meet in room 271. Business Affairs and Labor will meet in room 271. Thank you.
Representative Landgraf and Representative Ruppe. And would you give me a minute? Thank you very much. Members, may we have your attention? We are in announcements and introductions. Your attention to the well, please. And wait a minute. Please.
Go ahead.
We have quiet in the chambers. Take your side conversations outside.
Nobody even.
Please proceed.
Slows down. Members, it's that time again for the Veterans Caucus. We only have 2 left. The next one is April 11th at noon down in room 0112. It's all the
Representative Rupé, are you
Yes,
next?
thank you, Madam Speaker. So we will have all the different organizations that have to do with the Colorado National Guard, and we'll learn a little bit more about not just what the Guard is that we understand it as, but what it also does for us under emergencies. You remember the snowstorm we had and that they mobilized them?
Representative Rupé,
Yes,
give me
ma'am.
a minute. I'm sorry. Things are pretty noisy this morning. May I have your attention to the well, please? Please proceed, Representative Rupé.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So, the Veterans Caucus, please RSVP by tomorrow. I'll bet we could take a few late ones. To Jerry Wheeler, you've got a flyer on your desk. Please let us know if you could make it. As you know, these are hosted also by the Colorado Beverage Association, and we're looking forward to hearing from you.
Representative Ryden.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And while we are talking about Veterans and Military Affairs, I want to remind you that today is Gold Star Wives and Family Day at the Capitol. I think you know that our Gold Star families are those who've lost a loved one in war, and we commemorate them every year. They do all kinds of wonderful things in the community, and we were going to have a representative here. I don't see the person, but if and when he or she arrives, we will definitely introduce them. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, sir.
Representative Young.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, this is going to be interactive, so please listen. This is about appropriations. How many of you are a member of the House Appropriations Committee meeting? Raise your hand. Committee, raise your hand. How many of you think you have a bill coming up in appropriations? Raise your hand. Well, look at all the hands, and so that means that you should be paying close attention to the following announcement. We are changing the meeting date for appropriations this week. It's on the calendar for Friday, but we are switching it to Thursday morning. So if you show up on Friday morning, you're going to be a day late and $1 short. So Thursday morning, LSBA at 8 o'clock, House Appropriations. You can see the list of the bills that are printed in the calendar. That same list of bills, except for House Bill 1256, will be on the calendar. And those bills will be considered in appropriations Thursday morning. If you have any questions, please come and talk to me. But this is an important change, and you need to be aware of it. Tomorrow's calendar will have it printed correctly, but I wanted to draw your attention to it today. Thank you.
Representative Lawrence.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, I just want to remind everyone that tomorrow is the meeting of the Diabetes Caucus. It's a lunch meeting over at 1525 Sherman Street, room 603. And this will help educate us on the impacts of diabetes on the Colorado economy. I recommend that each of you attend this. Diabetes is something that type 2 is preventable. And I think the more education we get on it, the better it is. So please join me at the Diabetes Caucus tomorrow, noon at 1525 Sherman Street.
Representative Ryden. And Representative Singer.
Members, it is time for another senior moment. Today you have a flyer on your desks from our area agencies on aging informing you of the many services available and also letting you know that the demand is increasing and the resources are not so much. So just want to draw your attention to some of the services that are being offered that we really want to keep because they are helping people stay in their homes longer. And Rep. Singer will outline some of those programs.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So some of you may live in northwestern Colorado. Some of you may live in Region 3A. So take a look at the back of your sheet. Adult Day Currently, 8 older adults are currently waiting to attend adult day programs in Region 3A, providing their family caregivers with a much-needed break. The wait time is 6 to 12 months. 6 to 12 months. One other piece of sobering news, Homemaker Services. 118 older adults are currently waiting to receive help with laundry, meal preparation, house cleaning, other homemaking services. This is what keeps people out of expensive nursing homes. The wait time is 6 months to 24 months. So while there's good information and good resources out there, we've got a lot to do and a long ways to go. And once again, thank you for taking out some time for our senior moment.
Representative Conti.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, just wanted to point out, yesterday you had a wonderful little gift placed on your desk, some absolutely decadent chocolate, a gift from our Christian Homeschool Network. And also wanted to point out that this week down on the first floor, they have their displays there. A lot of the work that these kids that are exemplary have shown us what they're doing in their homeschool network. And I want to invite you all to go down and to be a part of that and to view it. And also look forward to Friday at noon on the West Steps to be with that Christian Homeschool Network with their event on the West Steps. Thanks so much.
Representative Kagan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members of the House Judiciary Committee and all those interested in Representative Melton's House Bill 1307 regarding threats to persons at post-secondary institutions and persons interested in House Bill 1391, Representative Pabone's Immigration Consultants Deceptive Trade Practice. We're going to have a slightly confusing order of testimony and hearing on Thursday for those two bills. And to accommodate everybody, what we're going to do is we're going to hear the first half hour of hearing on threats to persons at post-secondary institutions. That'll be at 1:30 on Thursday afternoon. Then we're going to take remote testimony on House Bill 1391 at 2 o'clock. And after that is over, then we will have to go back to threats to persons at post-secondary institutions. I'll repeat this tomorrow, but I wanted you to get a heads up. We're going to go 1307 first, then at 2 o'clock to 1391 remote testimony, and then back to finish off 1307. I apologize for this higgledy-piggledy order, but that's what we've got to do to accommodate all the witnesses that want to testify.
Members, could we have your attention to the well? We have just a couple more announcements and introductions. Representative Primavera.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. For members of Public Health and Human Services this afternoon, there was one bill that was inadvertently taken off the calendar. That's House Bill 1358 with Representative Singer and Representative Conti, and we will be hearing 1358.
Are there further announcements and introductions? Seeing none, Madam Majority Leader. Yeah, one more announcement. I apologize, Madam Majority Leader. It'll be a short one. For today only, April 5th, in Business Affairs and Labor, Representative Vigil will replace Representative Pabon. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to proceed out of order for the consideration of Senate amendments to House bills.
The motion is to proceed out of order to consider Senate amendments to House bills. Seeing no objection, so ordered. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1231.
House Bill 1231 by Representative Lebsack, also Senator Carroll, concerning the limited use of automated vehicle identification system designed to detect disobedience to a traffic signal.
Representative Lebsack.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, I move the House reject Senate amendments and adhere to the House position.
The motion is to reject amendments to the Senate version of House Bill 1231 and to adhere. Is there a further discussion? Representative Humphrey.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And good morning, everyone. House Bill 1231, restricting the use of red light cameras, was a bill that was designed by the governor's office in order to satisfy their interests in this issue. And I disagree with them. I think that what this bill basically does is rearrange the furniture. This is a serious issue. There's a lot of abuse to this system. And one thing we know for sure is that it generates a lot of revenue, but the studies that have been done, and most especially studies that have not been done, as recommended by Dennis Gallagher, show that these lights aren't even placed at the most dangerous intersections. And if you haven't watched that Call 7 investigative report, I urge you to do so. So what the Senate did was turn this bill into the bipartisan bill that was co-primed by Speaker Mark Ferrandino a few years back. And that's a solid bill, and I think that that's the way to go. Anything that the committee would do wouldn't be signed by the governor anyway, so I move that we concur with Senate amendments. I make a substitute motion that we concur with Senate amendments. Thank you.
The motion is a substitute motion to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1231. Discussion on concurrence. Representative Neville.
Thank you, Madam Speakers, and I wholeheartedly support that we concur with the Senate amendment in Representative Humphrey's substitute motion to concur with Senate amendments. This is an incredibly popular version of the bill. This is what the people are asking us for. This is what our constituents want, and I think we should concur. The Senate has done great things with this bill and made it into an incredibly solid bill. I urge a yes vote.
Representative Mitch Bush.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I represent some rural towns that are bisected by either U.S. highways or very busy state highways. These towns do not have the kind of money to have a large police force. So one of the things the Senate did to this bill is they took away the authority to have photo speed vans. That is a critical law enforcement tool in my small communities. It has nothing to do with revenue. It has to do with protecting kids. Thank you.
Representative.
I ordered your no on the motion, substitute motion to concur.
Representative Jay Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And members, I don't know about you, but as I was going out and listening during this last off session, this is one of the main bills that I heard about, was red light cameras and the traffic vans and allowing this bill to move forward again. And we heard from the public, and they said these are something that they're ready to be gone. And it is a matter of state concern because we drive everywhere. You are everywhere in the state. We are caught up everywhere in driving. We understand that these may not be the most practical way to guard traffic. They're not reducing, as we saw, traffic accidents the way that they couldn't provide that information. So what I'm looking for here is just us to go with the will of the people, us to follow what our constituents are telling us to do. And they are saying to push this bill forward the way that it came back from the Senate. I would ask you to vote yes on concurrence with Senate amendments.
Further discussion. Representative Lebsack.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And members, I voted yes on an outright ban last year. And it was an outright ban of both technologies, both red light cameras and photo radar. But I'll tell you the reason why we need to vote no on concurring with Senate amendments. If you look carefully at the title of the bill only references red light cameras. Vehicle identification system, when it relates to a traffic signal, is only talking about red light cameras. You can't put a photo radar van on top of a red light camera. You can, but you have to use a winch. It doesn't work. And so for that reason alone, we should be a no on concurring with Senate amendments and go back to the original motion of adherence. And that motion, frankly, may not pass either. And then we'll be doing what we do down here is legislate and go to conference committee and make it into a bill that this House can be really proud of.
Representative Del Grosso, Mr. Minority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And members, as we all know, that wherever this amendment got put on, whether it was in committee or on the floor, it is always up to chair's discretion, although we may not like that all the time. But the reality is, it is to whoever's in the chair, whether it's committee or on the floor, if something fits under the title, if it's ruled that it does, and then it's voted on and becomes part of the bill, it is now a part of the bill. So the fact of whether or not we think that something got on doesn't fit under the title, that ship has already sailed. That has been moved on, it has been voted on, and is now a part of the bill. So I also urge an aye vote on concurring with Senate amendments.
Further discussion? Representative Lebsack.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And just real clear, and I respect the minority leader and his position on this, but I'm going to make sure that I read the bill title so that all the members understand what we're talking about here. House Bill 1231, restricting the use of red light cameras. If you look at the introduced version, Madam Speaker, it states, concerning the limited use of automated vehicle identification systems designed to detect disobedience to a traffic signal. We're not talking about photo radar vans. And that's the reason why this bill, in its introduced version, now if you were having an argument on whether or not to restrict red light cameras, then I can understand that argument. But you're not. The argument is, should we concur with Senate amendments when they added photo radar, and that's not part of the bill. It's not part of the bill, and I ask for a no vote on the substitute motion to concur.
Representative Escar.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And members, I also would be a no vote to concur. I voted no on this bill last year, and I was able to vote yes on the bill that passed out of the House this year. And let me tell you why. In Pueblo, we have 3 cameras, and they're red light cameras. And they are actually cost neutral, and they've actually been proven in our city to reduce accidents. So last year, when it was an all-out ban, I voted no. This year, however, those 3 cameras are on the arterial roads that this bill itself talks about. I would urge a no vote on concurring, and also, I don't necessarily like them. I don't necessarily, personally, I've gotten a ticket up here in Denver with the photo radar. But you know what I could have avoided the ticket if I would have been going the speed limit. Vote no on concurrence.
Members, could we have more order, please? This is an important debate. Your attention to the well. Representative Van Winkle.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I agree that we do need to support the Humphrey Amendment because as the bill left the House of Representatives, it did not curb the use of red light cameras. And the Humphrey Amendment, or the to support the Senate version, does curb them. As it left the House of Representatives, it allowed just many pieces to actually expand the cameras. One of those was school districts. Do you know how many school districts are in the city and county of Denver alone? It's more than 180. So to think that the version that left the House originally curbs the use of red light cameras, it's just not true. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Support the Humphrey Amendment to curb red light cameras.
Representative Everett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you for realizing I'm not Representative Escar.
A couple issues here. Again, to reiterate what the minority leader said, look, it was the chair's discretion as to whether the amendment fits underneath the title. So clearly, this is what the law we have. There's no procedural issue here. There's nothing there. At the same time, as I drive in every morning to see your bright, shining faces, I drive through Kathleen Conti's, Representative Conti's district, which just removed their red light cameras, mainly because it was not producing the amount of revenue. So it's costing them more money to keep this than it was actually bringing in revenue. So contrary to what Representative Escar said, municipalities are removing these. You know, this is a very popular bill, the #1 bill I was asked about and why the governor vetoed it last year. I urge a yes vote on the Humphrey substitute motion.
Representative Melton.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, I ask for no vote on this concurrence, even though I do support banning the red light cameras and the photo radar cameras. It's not done. It shouldn't be done in this bill. And I keep hearing over and over again, well, the rules say that the chair gets the discretion of determining what's under single subject law, but that's actually not the case. Members, if this bill becomes law, if it passes and then the governor signs it, it becomes law, it becomes subject for litigation because it was passed in a manner that did not fall under the single subject rule. And so therefore, that law could end up becoming overturned. So members, what we're about to do if we pass the concurrence is we're about to do something that's unconstitutional. Members, I ask for no vote on concurrence.
Further discussion on concurrence as a substitute motion on House Bill 1231. Representative Lebsop, you've spoken twice now. So, Representative Humphrey.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And just to reiterate, the bill in its current form, the revised version that came over from the Senate was approved by the Senate committee and the chair. And this bill in its current form is the ideal bill, the ideal solution. Anything that comes out of a conference committee short of the introduced version of the bill, which will fail on the floor anyway, isn't going to be signed by the governor. So I would urge a yes vote on concurrence.
Representative Singer.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Well, first, I want to get out a couple laundry list issues. I think it's interesting that we had someone come to the well to ask for concurrence on Senate amendments. I didn't hear a single hiss or cluck or anything. So thank you, members, for that. We should have a much more, frankly, apart from just wanting to insult the Senate, I think that this begs a bigger conversation. And if you look at what the bill title says, and trust me, this is coming from someone who voted to restrict the use of red light cameras, who's worked to keep these kinds of bills alive and to keep this conversation going. This motion isn't the way to do that. This motion isn't the way to do that. I think it's far more important to ensure that we can follow a process and adhere to that process. And the things that I read in this bill with the Senate amendments do not fit under the title as I read them. I can't rule those out of order, but what I can certainly do is not concur with them. And so I think we should respect that process. And in honor of respecting that process, in honor of red lights, press the red light on this motion.
Representative Conti.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, I come to you representing the one of the only cities that I'm aware of that's actually voted to eliminate these red light cameras, because in 3 out of 5 intersections where they were placed, they actually saw an increase in accidents. And that's why the data is far less than conclusive. So I would encourage an outright ban. And the other reason, of course, our city council found overwhelming citizen anger at these red light cameras. And the fact that this core problem of the fact that it violates due process is still in place. I ask for a yes vote on adherence.
Representative Salazar.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, members, you guys know how I feel about red light cameras. I want them gone, right? It's a violation of due process. There's so many things wrong with them. But this concurrence with the Senate amendment, there's also something wrong with it too. I think it violates the single subject rule, and it gives the governor an out. Gives the governor the right to veto this bill without even talking about red light cameras. He can veto this bill by saying this violates the single subject rule, and he's right. He would be right about that, and I don't want to give him that out. This is the conversation that we need to have. I don't particularly care for the House version either, and that's why I voted against it, because that's not something that I particularly cared for. But on this concurrence, it gives the governor an out to veto the bill because it's unconstitutional, it violates the single subject rule, and I don't want to give him that. We need to have an honest conversation about this, and I ask for a no on concurrence.
Further discussion on concurrence on House Bill 1231. Seeing none, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 31 ayes, 33 noes, and 1 excused, motion to concur is lost. We are now back to the original motion, which is to adhere to Senate amendments to House Bill 1231. Is there discussion on adherence? Representative Lebsack, yeah, I think that works on this motion. Representative Del Grosso, Mr. Minority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, I am still not a fan of the House version. I think there's a lot more that can be added to that. The conversation, I think, needs to continue to be had. So with that, I move that we reject Senate amendments and then a conference committee be formed.
The motion is a
Substitute motion.
Yes.
This is my first day, Dominic. Come on.
I understood that, Mr. Minority Leader. The motion is a substitute motion to send House Bill 12, to reject Senate amendments and send House Bill 1231 to a conference committee. Discussion. Representative Lebsack.
Madam Speaker, I'm going to say that we need to have this vote on the conference committee. The original motion was to adhere to the House position. I received bipartisan support on that original bill. 22 folks on this side voted yes. 11 folks on this side voted yes. But I understand that the 11 folks on this side of the aisle only voted yes to the original version of the bill because you believed that the Senate was going to strengthen the bill. And I respect that. And so, members, I respectfully ask for a yes vote on rejecting Senate amendments. I believe that was the motion, rejecting Senate amendments and going to conference committee. This is the only way that we true up the bill and remove that one portion of the bill that doesn't fit underneath the title, but you can still advocate for an outright ban for red light cameras. If this side of the aisle wants to advocate for outright ban for red light cameras, and a few folks over here would like to as well, you can do that. But I believe that the legislative process should be honored and respected, and I'm asking for a yes vote to go to conference committee.
Representative Jay Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, I appreciate Representative Lebsack's comments. I think they're correct. I think the appropriate motion now is to go to committee for us to see what we can do with this bill, see if we can come to an agreement. And I think that can be done in committee. I'd ask for a yes vote on the.
Is there further discussion on going to a conference committee on House Bill 1231? Seeing none, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 53 ayes, 11 noes, and 1 excused, a conference committee is accepted for House Bill 1231. The conferees will be Steve Lebsack, Casey Becker, and Jay Becker. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1088.
House Bill 1088 by Representative Dorr, also Senator Roberts, concerning the authorization for a fire protection district to impose an impact fee on new development in connection with enacting the Public Safety Fairness Act.
Representative Dorr.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. What are we doing here? So I move House Bill 1088 and ask that we, well, I hate to do it, we concur with the Senate amendments.
The motion is to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1088. Please explain yourself, Representative Dorr.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Normally, we would love to have a fight with the Senate, but in this case, they actually changed a word to make it consistent throughout the legislation, so we're really talking about a technical change. Where we had a shall and a may conflict with each other, we changed one to the may with regards to the agreement that the localities can come up with, because sometimes these agreements happen outside of the IGA. And so we don't have to have an IGA necessarily every time, so we changed the shall to a may to make it consistent throughout the legislation, and that's why I ask for the concurrence.
Is there further discussion on concurrence on House Bill 1088? Seeing none, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote on concurrence. Close the machine. With 63 ayes, 1 no, and 1 excused, concurrence is passed on House Bill 1088. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the repassage of House Bill 1088 as amended.
The motion is for repassage of House Bill 1088 as amended. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 42 ayes, 22 noes, and 1 excused, House Bill 1088 is repassed as amended. Co-sponsors. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1306.
House Bill 1306 by Representative Williams, also Senator Holbrook, concerning revision of the state statutes governing mortgage loan originators to conform more closely to applicable federal law in connection with amending, relocating, and repealing provisions in accordance with the Federal Secure and Fair Enforcement for Mortgage Licensing Act of 2008.
Representative Williams.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move House Bill 1306 and ask that the House concur with Senate amendments.
The motion is to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1306. Please explain yourself, Representative Williams.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, basically what they wanted to do over in the Senate is to clarify that the Board of Mortgage Originators shall investigate if there is a complaint, or they may investigate on its own. I ask you for an aye vote.
Is there further discussion on concurrence on House Bill 1306? Seeing none, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine with 64 ayes, no noes, and 1 excused. Concurrence is passed on House Bill 1306. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the repassage of House Bill 1306 as amended.
The motion is to repass House Bill 1306 as amended. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine with 64 ayes, no noes, and 1 excused. House Bill 1306 is repassed as amended. Co-sponsors. We will now go back to order of business, third reading of bills and final passage. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1422.
House Bill 1422 by Representatives Hamner and Rankin, also Senators Lambert and Stedman, concerning financing public schools in connection with making, reducing, and appropriation.
Representative Hamner.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move a request to offer a third reading amendment.
The motion is to request a third reading amendment on House Bill 1422. Please explain, Representative Hamner.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And members, as you know, only technical amendments can be offered on third reading, and so this is a technical amendment. Based on the actions we took yesterday on second reading, we needed to adjust the total program in the appropriations clause. This chews that up. It's a technical amendment, and I ask for your support when I introduce the amendment.
Further discussion on permission for a technical amendment on House Bill 1422? Seeing none, the motion is for permission to grant a technical amendment on House Bill 1422. Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine with 56 ayes, 8 noes, and 1 excused. Permission is granted for a technical amendment on House Bill 1422. Representative Hamner.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And members, thank you for permission to offer an amendment. I move L018, and I see that it's been displayed.
L018 is properly moved and displayed. Please proceed, Representative Hamner.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. L018 adjusts the total program based on actions we took yesterday. On second reading, it adjusts the total program number in the appropriations clause. I ask for your support.
Is there further discussion on L018 to House Bill 1422? Seeing none, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine with 50 ayes, 14 noes, and 1 excused. L018 is passed. We are now back to the motion to pass House Bill 1422. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. close the machine. With 46 ayes, 18 noes, and 1 excused, House Bill 1422 is passed. Co-sponsors. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to lay over the balance of the calendar until tomorrow, April 6th.
The motion is to lay over the balance of the calendar until tomorrow. Seeing no objection, so ordered. Madam Majority Leader. Yeah, shall we have announcements and introductions? Any announcements or introductions? Representative McCann.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members of Health Insurance and Environment, we will convene at 10:15 in our regular room 107. Thanks.
Representative Kagan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd ask everybody in the Judiciary Committee to come really quickly. We've got one bill, and if we can get it done quickly, we can all go to a press conference if we'd like at 11 o'clock. So let's get down there quick. Room 112.
Representative Buck.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I just have a wonderful aide, but what's even better is I have a wonderful family that is here today, Mr. and Mrs. Eckelkamp and the crew. So I just ask everybody to welcome the Eckelkamps. Thank you.
$2 fine. And welcome. Further announcements and introductions. Seeing none, Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House stand in recess until later today at 1:30 p.m.
The motion is to stand in recess until later today at 1:30 p.m. Seeing no objections, we're in recess.